Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a topic that affects literally millions of travelers but rarely gets talked about honestly. We're going to unpack the uncomfortable truth about flying after 60 and specifically the free perks and federally protected rights that airlines really don't want you to know about.
Let's kick things off by looking at the massive cost of what you might not know. To put this in perspective, airlines raked in over $6 billion, yeah, billion with a B, in baggage fees in just one recent year. And a pretty meaningful chunk of that actually comes from people paying for things they legally shouldn't have to. Just last year, for instance, a 68-year-old retired nurse from Ohio paid $240 in baggage fees for items that she simply didn't owe a dime for.
Which brings us to a really crucial question. What if the absolute most valuable airline perks are just hiding right there in plain sight? Picture this scenario for a second. A 72-year-old veteran recently stood in an agonizing security line for 50 whole minutes when he could have legally walked right through with zero wait. Why? Well, simply because nobody told him his rights. These aren't just rare one-off stories, you know? They happen every single day at major airports all over the country.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for This Explainer. First, the hidden travel reality, followed by booking and preparation perks. Then, navigating the terminal, winning at the gate, and finally, the ultimate power moves.
Section 1. The hidden travel reality, why airlines stay quiet. You see, with airlines boarding over 800 million passengers a year, an announced free service is a service that costs them real money. So they just bury these federally protected policies deep in the fine print and quietly hope you print your boarding pass and never ask the right questions.
Moving right along to Section 2, booking and preparation perks. Before you leave home, let's look at what you must do before you even pull your suitcase out of the closet.
Okay, this totally shatters one of the biggest travel myths out there. We basically all assume that standard online booking guarantees us the absolute cheapest fare, right? Well, actually, wrong. Online comparison engines don't know your age, so they automatically hide the senior fares. By just picking up the phone and calling the airline directly, you unlock these hidden senior codes sitting right there in their database. A retired Boston teacher actually saved $53 on a flight to Miami by doing exactly this. It was literally a 4-minute phone call for the exact same flight and seat, just at a dramatically better price.
The secret sauce here is knowing the exact language to use. Don't just ask, "Hey, do you have a senior discount?" That usually just gets you a super vague, unhelpful answer. You need to ask specifically, is there a senior fare filed on this route that isn't showing online? This language triggers a very specific search in the reservation systems for major carriers like United, Delta, and American.
And hey, while you're managing that booking, there are some brilliant perks for special meals. On full-service international flights, you can order low-sodium, diabetic-friendly, or heart-healthy meals for absolutely zero extra cost as long as you request them 24 hours in advance. And here is a fantastic bonus. Special meals come off the cart first. You get to eat 20 minutes before the general service even begins, so you can easily dodge those dry, mystery meat dinners at 35,000 feet and land feeling physically so much better. All right, on to Section 3, navigating the terminal, arrival to security. We've officially made it to the airport, and now it's time to tackle check-in and security. Did you know your family doesn't actually have to ditch you at the curb? It's true. Most major U.S. airlines will print a completely free companion escort pass right at the staffed check-in counter. You just bring your companion's government ID and use this exact script. "I'd like to request an escort pass so my daughter can walk me to the gate." They go through security with you, they can grab a coffee with you, and they stay right by your side until you board. So no more navigating those crowded terminals entirely alone. And please never hesitate to ask for help inside the terminal. It's kind of like airports are built with the assumption that every single passenger is a fast-moving 34-year-old track star, right? But the reality is that the average walk from check-in to the gate is a quarter to a full-mile hike. This is exactly why you should request federally mandated senior mobility assistance. And listen, it's for anyone with tired legs or heavy bags, absolutely not just those who physically cannot walk. Now let's talk about the dreaded security line. If you are 75 or older, TSA actually provides automatic modified screening. You don't have to take your shoes off and you don't remove light jackets. But here is the major catch. You absolutely must state your age out loud before the screening begins. They are legally not allowed to guess. A 76-year-old from Denver actually missed his connection because nobody mentioned his age, and he spent 22 minutes stuck in secondary screening. Oh, and if you're under 75 and want some help, simply call the TSA Cares line 72 hours before your flight for personalized support.
Moving to Section 4,
winning at the gate, boarding, and comfort. We've reached those critical, high-stress moments just before boarding.
Remember that insane $6 billion baggage fee stat we talked about earlier? Well, here is exactly how you close that expensive loophole. Medical equipment like CPAP machines, portable oxygen, and insulin cooling bags legally fly for free on major U.S. carriers. If a gate agent ever looks at your medical bag and tries to charge you, you just look right back and use this magic phrase. These are medically necessary items. Boom! It instantly waives the fee.
Now here's a totally brilliant strategy for those jam-packed flights. Volunteer for a free gate check. Honestly, why twist your shoulder trying to heave a heavy bag into a tiny overhead bin while 30 people angrily wait behind you? Instead, just ask the gate agent to check your carry-on to your final destination for free before boarding even starts. You just stroll onto the plane with your personal item totally stress-free. It's a real game changer.
Okay, this next one is like a secret cheat code. There is a hidden, magical 30-minute timeline at the gate. Here's the play. Arrive 45 minutes early. Then, wait for that quiet 20 to 30-minute window right before the very first boarding call. This is exactly when blocked seats suddenly open up. Approach the desk calmly and politely ask for newly opened extra legroom seats. Just like the 68-year-old retiree who smiled, asked politely, and magically got moved from a cramped middle seat in row 37 all the way up to an aisle seat in row 11. And yep, it was completely free of charge.
And look, when it is finally time to board, please do not wait for Zone 4 if you genuinely need a bit of extra time. Under federal disability rules, pre-boarding requires absolutely no doctor's notes, no diagnoses, and no special lanyards. You simply self-identify. You just walk up to the desk before boarding starts and say, "I need a little extra time to board. I'd like to pre-board, please." That's it. It is a federally protected sentence that gets you on the plane first, completely avoiding that chaotic scramble in the aisle.
Finally, Section 5, the ultimate power move. Disruptions and disputes. Let's learn exactly how to handle these situations.
Okay, let's talk about delays. There's this incredibly misunderstood term in the airline industry called a controllable delay. Basically, this is a delay of 3 hours or more that is directly caused by the airline. We're talking mechanical issues, crew problems, or scheduling errors. This federally defined term legally unlocks free meal vouchers and hotel accommodations. A retired couple from Phoenix recently spent $220 out of pocket on airport food in a hotel simply because nobody told them this rule. If they had just stated this was a controllable delay, the airline would have been legally obligated to cover every cent of those costs.
And here is your absolute trump card. Enter the CRO, or Complaint Resolution Official. This is a federally mandated referee, available at every single airport, 24/7, every single hour they operate. Their sole job is to enforce passenger rights right there on the spot. So, if a gate agent ever denies your legal rights, like, say, refusing your pre-boarding or trying to illegally charge you for medical baggage, this is the exact person you call.
When you know this, the whole power dynamic shifts. If you hit a wall, you just deploy this magic forward protocol. "I'd like to speak with your complaint resolution official, please." Just watch how fast the conversation instantly changes. Gate agents so rarely hear passengers knowledgeable enough to actually invoke this. Remember, you aren't making a polite request here. You are invoking a federal protocol.
So these perks aren't really secrets at all, right? They're just policies hiding in plain sight, just waiting for you to claim them. I want to leave you with this provocative thought. Which of these 11 hidden perks surprised you the most, and how are you going to use it on your very next flight? I enthusiastically encourage you to treat these federally protected perks as your brand new travel standard. Empower yourself, ask the right questions, and for goodness sake, stop leaving money and comfort on the terminal floor. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, safe travels out there.